John Rhys Davis here, Salah in Indiana Jones, and Gimli in Lord of the Rings. Give 'em hell, 3 guys and a flick.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix legions, and loyal servant to the true Emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Three guys and a flick with Duncan and John. Dive into the movies well after the dawn. From the good to the bad to the wildly absurd. They give a fuck about films. Their voices are heard.
Welcome back. You are listening to Three Guys and a Flick. This is where we review the good, the bad, and the absurd. Tonight's episode, Gladiator. Beware spoilers. Coming to you from the Colosseum in Rome, my name is Don. And to my right, we have the comic book guy, John.
Howdy-ho.
And to my left, we have the professor, Ken.
Hello, everybody.
Guys, why are we in this room all lined up waiting to go out? And what's with the guy pissing in front of me? Oh, wait. Oh, that's John. Ken, what's going on?
You know, I'm not quite sure. You know, I just saw a line and we're standing here, and next thing you know, they gave us a helmet. They gave me this sword. I'm not sure.
Well, shit, I guess we're going to fuck around and find out, aren't we?
I guess we are.
Tonight, we are talking about Gladiator. It comes to us from one of our listeners, Gil50. So, hey, Gil, we hope you like the review. Released on May 5th, 2000, Gladiator was directed by Ridley Scott. Screenplay by David Franzoni, John Logan, and William Nicholson. Music by Hans Zimmer. And it stars Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, Connie Nielsen, Oliver Reed, Derek Jacobi, Jamin Hansu, Richard Harris, and a bunch of other gladiators.
How'd this movie do, Don?
This movie was made for $110 million and brought in $465 million.
This movie also started a whole trend of like ancient Rome style movies.
Yeah, I remember the time when it came out. Did you see this in the theater?
I believe I did, yes.
Did you see this in the theater?
I'm confident that I did, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive I did too. And I remember really liking it at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it led to like Troy, 300, Alexander, Kingdom of Heaven, and Noah all came out right after this one.
Yeah, this one was definitely better than all of those.
Hands down.
So good, it won 5 Academy Awards.
Yeah, it was nominated for 12, and it won for 5. It won for picture, actor, special effects, sound, and the last one is costume.
There you go. Absolutely. And rightfully deserved.
It didn't win for Best Supporting Actor for Joaquin, but he was nominated. Did you think he should have won it?
I don't know. Who won it that year?
Benicio del Toro for Traffic.
That's hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard choice.
Traffic was also big in the Oscars that year because Traffic was nominated for picture as well, and it also won for, as we just said, supporting actor, but it also won for director over Ridley Scott.
I guess in those terms, it's just nice to be nominated. I thought Joaquin Phoenix did a fantastic job. And it was good that he was nominated.
This was supposedly, I guess, his big break into big films. He had done mostly short or just, short projects.
Yeah. I was also struck by Ridley Scott's association with this because apparently he was responsible largely to have Russell Crowe come on board.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe turned down the role many, many times, but only took it because he wanted to work with Ridley Scott.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they did because at the time you have Antonio Banderas, Hugh Jackman, and
Mel Gibson
out for the role. And I think that this role of Maximus, well, first of all, back then, I think the only one who could have really pulled it off maybe was Mel.
Same.
And Braveheart was out 5 years earlier, but we'd seen him in Braveheart, so we kind of see that. I don't know if at the time Antonio or Hugh have the prowess,
The chutzpah.
that Crowe brings to this role. I think Crowe was made for this role. This is also the role that thrusts Crowe into the stardom. And this movie doesn't work if Crowe is not Maximus Decimus Meridius. That's just my opinion. So
Ridley Scott, where do we know him from?
he is a great director. And we've actually reviewed a couple of movies of his here on The Three Guys.
Indeed.
He is responsible for movies like Alien, Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise, Legend, Prometheus. I mean,
Black Hawk Down.
the guy's great.
Do you have a favorite Ridley Scott movie?
I was afraid you were going to ask that, and I think it might be Alien.
That's where I was going to go as Alien.
I think Gladiator for me, and then a close second is a tie with Blade Runner and Black Hawk Down.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I guess I would have had to like Blade Runner in order for that to be in my picks.
Well, you have to decide which version of Blade Runner.
What about a favorite Russell Crowe movie?
Oh, you motherfucker. I really like him in this.
Every time I think of Russell Crowe, I think Gladiator, so I'd have to go with Gladiator.
That's kind of sort of where I go as well. And it's probably going to be Gladiator.
Yeah.
He's so solid in this.
But he really is solid in almost anything he does. You know what I mean? So I think he's a great actor. I loved him in The Man of Steel. I mean, who better to play Superman's father than Maximus?
You weren't
Right.
going to say Thor Ragnarok?
He wasn't in Ragnarok.
Oh, not Ragnarok. Love and Thunder.
As Zeus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play the most powerful god, and you already played the most powerful gladiator, Taika said, hey, let's fucking pick Russell Crowe.
I wonder
That's
if his
great.
inspiration was like Mario from Super Mario Brothers, the way he played that character.
Maybe.
Joaquin Phoenix. You guys have a favorite Joaquin Phoenix movie? I struggled on that. The only one I could really think of that I enjoyed him the most was Gladiator.
Oh, yeah? I think Gladiator is it for me as well.
Yeah, probably for me too.
What about Joker?
I-
Even though it wasn't a great movie, not a number one movie, I thought he did a good job in Joker.
Well, I thought he did fine. Joker was depressing. I didn't like either of them. So
Same. The whole Joker story arc just was not it. And because of that, he turned me off just because I didn't like the story as well.
Yeah, I didn't like the story, but I thought he did a good job acting the character with what he had.
Let's talk a little bit about Hans Zimmer.
Hans.
he's probably my second favorite composer, right behind one John motherfucking Williams. I was talking to Keenan and telling him we were going to do Gladiator, and we started talking about Hans Zimmer because Hans Zimmer, we really dig Hans Zimmer. And I started thinking, what are my top 5 soundtracks of all time? And I thought Gladiator would be up there. And then listening to Gladiator while watching it, I couldn't get the Pirates theme out of my head.
Fuck yeah.
They reused it, I guess. I never knew that.
Is it an actual reuse?
They say in the notes that I looked up that he did reuse parts from Gladiator in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, and that makes sense because with composers, you kind of hear their feel or their vibe throughout different soundtracks of movies.
Yeah.
But this one was just really, really similar. And Pirates, it was a good movie. It's not one of the best, but it was a good movie. But as far as Hans Zimmer soundtracks go, I think the Batman world, the Dark Knight world, I think those are my favorite soundtracks, followed closely by Inception.
What about Man of Steel?
Oh, you motherfucker. See, now I got to throw Man of Steel in that genre too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But yeah, all those you just said, yeah, top tier.
solid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hans Zimmer, he's worked with Ridley Scott 3 times. Gladiator, the other 2 were Black Hawk Down and Hannibal.
I forgot Ridley did Hannibal.
And he's worked 6 times with Christopher Nolan.
3 of the Batmans, Inception. I don't think he did Interstellar.
He did Interstellar,
And then there's one more. He didn't do The Prestige, did he?
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk. Oh, there you go. Yeah, right on.
And
right on.
the guy, he has 2 Academy Awards. He got an Academy for 1994's Lion King and then 2021 Dune.
Any other actors stand out to you?
I really liked Oliver Reed in this. This was his final role. He died 3 weeks before production was complete, so they had to reuse and CGI some of his old footage.
Between the CGI and the face mapping, it cost an additional $3 million to the budget.
I know, back then, right?
Yeah.
And 25 years later, we have AI do it. So,
And they also had to rework the script.
yeah, because I believe Proximo was supposed to bury the figurines at the end.
And he was supposed to go into the gladiator ring.
Oh, and fight?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I guess he and Russell Crowe butted heads to a point where they almost had a fist fight on set.
That doesn't shock me. Russell Crowe, though,
He
kind of
he's
seems like a
arrogant.
dick, right? Yeah.
He's arrogant.
I'll just say he's kind of a dick.
He's had a
so-
few run-ins.
Yeah, just a few. I mean, fuck, the guy stole Meg Ryan from Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid's like the nicest guy in the world. Why would you do that? What about you guys? Did anyone else stand out in the cast for you?
Connie Nielsen.
I was going to say, I thought she did an okay job.
Yeah, she was good.
Mm-hmm.
Jamin Heinsu, I thought he was, in the small role he had, he was okay.
I felt that he did a great job, and I liked his counter to Maximus's character,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll talk a lot about that when we
Mm-hmm.
get into it. But yeah, I thought he was great. What about you? Did you like him?
Yeah.
I almost felt like he portrayed us in the movie. He was the audience. He was we were seeing a lot of it through his eyes.
The second half of it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Yeah. Richard Harris, the Emperor, Dumbledore. What do you guys think of Richard Harris?
He was great.
Yeah, he was.
I liked him. He's one of those characters that you instantly kind of just have a liking to the moment he walks onto the set.
Yeah. And I thought his portrayal of Marcus Aurelius was genuine. And the scene where him and Commodus are talking and Max, I mean, it's all heartbreaking, and I buy it.
Do you know what this movie lacked that they should have put in?
Boobs.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, right before Commodus kills the Emperor,
Uh-huh.
what should the line have been?
What should the line have been?
Like, what should the Emperor have said to him?
E2 Commodus?
Strike me down and I'll return more powerful.
I was watching Jedi this morning, and yeah, we're going to have a chat, boys.
Are you boys ready for some trivia?
No.
Okay, then moving on.
Are you not entertained?
Question number 1. How many soldiers does Maximus dispatch of when his execution is to take place?
Don, 6.
I was going to say 4.
The correct answer is 4.
Oh, there you go.
Question number 2. What is Proximo's first fight he's assigned after they arrive at the Colosseum and was considered by him to be a massacre?
Don. The Battle of Carthage. Carthage.
The correct
The massacre at Carthage.
That's pretty
Carthage?
close. I would have gone with that.
The correct answer is the Battle of Carthage. So point to Don.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Nice job. Nice pull.
Thanks.
I'll give you something to pull. Question number 3. Maximus's second battle in the Colosseum has him pitted against a warrior that had been in retirement for 5 years and is undefeated. How is this opponent introduced to the arena?
John, Tigress of Gaul is the only undefeated champion.
The correct answer is the legendary Tigress of Gaul. Point to John. Question number 4. What are the last words of Maximus?
Don. Lucius is safe.
The correct answer is Lucius is safe. Point to Don.
This is it, buddy. We're tied going into the final question.
Correct. We are tied at 2 apiece. Question number 5. How many times do we see Maximus picking up dirt to have it in his hands before fighting?
John, 3.
Don, do you have an answer?
4.
The correct answer is 5.
Damn.
So, we end in a tie.
Nice job.
Hey, no, good job. In AD 180, Roman general Maximus Decimus Meridius leads a final victory over the Germanic tribes. Emperor Marcus Aurelius confides in Maximus that his son, Commodus, is unfit to rule and wishes Maximus to succeed him and restore the Republic. Commodus, enraged, murders his father in secret and claims the throne. When Maximus refused to swear loyalty, Commodus has him arrested and orders the execution of his wife and son. Maximus escapes, races home, and finds his family murdered. After burying them, he collapses and is captured by slavers. Taken to Zucabar in North Africa, he's sold to a gladiator trainer named Proximo. So this movie opens up and we get this beautiful sepia-toned logo page. We get our title card, and then we kind of get a breakdown of what's going on, where we're at. We're told that Marcus Aurelius is in power and that his conquer
12-year campaign's coming to a close.
And yeah, and it all, there's one last strong front left. It's at Germania.
The Roman Empire spans from Africa to northern England at this point.
Yeah. And so this is the final battle that he thinks. And we cut to one of many hands running across the wheat, and instantly we're snapped to a medium shot, a medium close of Maximus.
Yeah, and it has this golden hue to this dark blue hue. So, warm to cold.
And you can see him contemplating in his face kind of what is about to go down. And then I like how he sees the sparrow, and then he watches the sparrow fly away, and for a brief moment, he smiles, but he snaps right back into, all right, it's game time. And now we get to meet the Roman army as Maximus is walking through, greeting everybody, getting ready for the battle, them showing him the utmost respect.
His second in command, Quintus, the little fucker, and he is talking about how they are waiting for an answer. He's, their messenger's been gone for a while, and they see the horseman coming back. The answer is no.
It's such a great line because he just knows, right?
Uh-huh.
And then he looks at Gracchus and he says, okay, on my signal, unleash hell. And he takes off. What'd you guys think of this whole opening battle bit?
Majestic, impressive. It is epic.
Yeah.
It sets the tone. This is going to be a bloody movie.
Yeah, kind of.
But it was just so large. It was so impressive looking at all of these bodies moving.
Yeah. What I liked, and what I heard was the forest that they used, the conservationists or whoever they are.
Yeah.
They were going to burn it down. And Ridley Scott found out and said, you know what, guys? Let me use the forest and I'll burn it down for you.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for it. I'll do it for free.
Yeah, fucking beautiful.
Yeah, impressive. It is such a well shot battle. You get the violence, a little bit of gore, but just the pandemonium of it all.
You also get to see Maximus is a skilled fighter. I mean, whether he's on the horseback or knocked off the horse, he kicks some ass. So he's got some skills.
And he's a fucking great strategist too, right? Every once in a while, we cut back to Richard Harris, who stands from afar and watches the battle. And we see the Roman army get ready up front. And then we see Maximus take off, and he meets his soldiers, and he gives them the pep talk. And I love that line about
strength and honor.
Yeah, the strength and honor bit. And I love the line where he says, if you find yourself walking alone, don't worry about it. You're probably dead. So there you go.
Then we meet Commodus and Lucilla, and they are riding along, and it's such a pampered little life that they are in right now, and he's contemplating that maybe he thinks he's going to be named the emperor.
And I don't know what it is about Commodus's character or how Joaquin plays it. I instantly don't like him.
You're not supposed to.
You get he's just a spoiled little brat almost.
Yes.
You get that feeling right away, who's being very flirtatious with his sister.
Oh, a little bit too flirtatious with his sister.
But it almost seems like at this point his sister's okay at putting him in his place.
Yeah, it does feel like that. And I'm kind of glad they went that way too, as opposed to all Game of Thronesy, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, which I found out after the fact that apparently that is a little bit of history that they have together.
yeah.
But that's never revealed on screen.
Yeah. And it doesn't really progress us at all in the
No,
story at all.
no, it doesn't.
Doesn't help or hinder. So,
Because if we had known that, then when we do get those things that are alluded to us, it lessens the creepiness and the horror and the fright that she shares with us, the audience.
yeah. And,
Love it when he arrives at the battlefield. Have I missed the battle?
you missed the fucking war, guy.
Yeah, it only took him 12 years to get there.
Something like that. He must have had other things to do.
And that's his fucking dad saying that, and he says it so offhandedly.
Yeah. And I think that Commodus constantly is getting put down or talked down to.
Mhm.
And he's always trying to spin it and, oh, come, father, come walk with me, or let's go back to the tent, blah, blah, blah. So,
No.
yeah.
And he can see during these scenes that Marcus is held in high regard, and you can tell he's jealous about it.
Maximus?
Yeah.
So after the battle is won, Marcus calls Maximus into his tent.
This starts what I call an evening of intrigue, which I feel like is just like classic Roman society stuff. That there are these little things, these secrets and little backstories of things that are being hatched and unfolded, and there is deception and trickery and seduction. I feel like this is a classic Roman story.
It felt very Shakespearean with, you tell this person this, and then they tell them this, and then they find out this, and then it comes back around and somebody gets killed because of it.
I like the way it plays out, and I like how Richard Harris and Russell Crowe play the scene. And, Maximus comes in and says, "You wanted to see me?" And Marcus says, "What do you want, Maximus?" And Maximus instantly has no problem saying, "I want to go home."
No hesitation whatsoever.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
That whole bit where he explains his home?
Yeah.
This whole bit is improvised by Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe frequently butted heads with the writers, and he was always wanting to have it be something different. And so there were lots of arguments, and he was very insistent on having things his way. And so this is him explaining his home life that he has in Australia.
Yeah. And Marcus is like, "Well, I mean, that sounds great, but I got one more thing I need you to do for me." And Maximus is like, "Fuck, what, dude?" Yeah. Run Rome.
He says, "Run Rome until we can turn it over to the senators." And Maximus's quick response is, "No, I don't want to do that." And Marcus's response is, "That's why you're the man for this."
Yeah. And so Marcus Aurelius knows that Maximus hasn't been corrupted yet. And he
still believes in Rome and the whole vision of Rome.
Even though he's never been to Rome.
But which also, it goes to his credit because he hasn't been exposed to all that corruption or anything yet, right? He's fresh eyes going into it. And and Maximus is like, "Well, fuck, well, what about Commodus?"
Yeah.
He cannot rule. He must not rule.
Yeah, he's morally incapable.
Yeah. And Maximus is like, "Fuck, all right, well, let me think about it, I guess."
Yeah, he hasn't been home like in over 2 years.
2 years, 264 days, and this morning, something like that.
And then he says one other thing. He says, you're the son that I should have had."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's pretty clear that Maximus loves him like a father. I mean, he loves this emperor.
and he loves Rome, and he's noble and just, and he's just a fucking man, right? And just his sheer presence tells us that.
And then as he parts, Lucilla's like, what were you two talking about?
Nothing. I just, just hanging out with your pops. And Lucilla is she loves Maximus.
Yeah, you can tell that she's got feelings for him.
And you can tell that these guys have a history, and it goes way back. because apparently Maximus has known Commodus and Lucilla and has been working for Marcus since he was a kid.
I always kind of wondered about the whole relationship between her and Maximus and Lucius, how that's going on, because Maximus reveals, I don't know if he reveals at this point or later on, but he has an 8-year-old child. He's been with his wife at least 8 years. And then Lucius is 8 years old. And it's hinted that maybe Lucius is his kid at some point.
It's never hinted.
I thought it is kind of hinted.
Where? At what line?
I don't remember, but I thought there was some hint.
Because I specifically looked for it because I have a real issue with Gladiator 2. It's never hinted.
Oh, I don't know why. I always assumed it in this movie.
Yep.
But the first time I saw it. And basically, I thought about it, and I thought, well, did Maximus either cheat on his wife, or was he in a relationship with her right before? Back then, people were pretty loose with their morals, with their relationships, and slept around a lot. So,
But Maximus doesn't strike me the type.
I don't know. I think it's made very, very clear that they had a relationship at one point.
Yeah, but we don't know what kind of.
And that's why I think I probably assumed Lucius was actually his kid.
No. Because during this interaction, Maximus tells Lucilla, I heard about your husband. I'm warned. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And she says, I have a son. His name is Lucius. He is 8 years old. And Maximus goes, oh, hey, I have a son, 8 years old, with my wife back in Spain. That's the only time they've ever talked about any of that. So I don't know how anyone would get that Lucius was Maximus's. I think it's just something that came up more
Organically.
as and when the sequel came out. That's just my feelings.
Because the fondness that they show for each other, to me, shows that their fondness is born from them having mutual respect for each other because they're both parents with small children.
That's kind of how I took it.
Yeah.
So Commodus goes to see his pops. Yeah. Talk about a heart fucking breaking scene.
You will not be emperor.
What wiser, older gentleman shall take my place? And Marcus says it's going to be Maximus until he can turn it over to the Senate.
I liked his whole speech of, well, I don't have the, what do they call
I have
these?
other virtues.
While I don't have the virtues that you would want in an emperor, I do have other virtues. And he names off just some skeezy virtues.
Well, I don't know. Ambition, courage, those aren't bad virtues, but they aren't the virtues that Marcus wrote him about what it takes to be emperor, right?
Right.
So you're right. He's kind of trying to weasel his way, but are you sure you don't want to do this, Pop? But no, Marcus is steadfast. And I like his line about, he tells Commodus, your failures as a son are my faults as a father.
Yeah. So, yeah, right before that, even then, it's like that you didn't want me as your son. I thought, man, that's just like a stab to the heart right there. It's laid bare right there. This is how Commodus feels towards his dad.
And Marcus kneels down and wants to hug him, and they embrace. And then it's at this point I thought, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that is a great line that, that he says to Commodus, what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I guess the scene was so intense of him smothering the emperor that afterwards Joaquin passed out. He fainted.
Oh, well, there was a lot of emotion there. Mm-hmm. And I know that I hear tell that Joaquin's quite the method actor as well. So he did a fantastic job. Great scene, heartbreaking, makes me hate Commodus even that much more.
Before, when I've watched this movie, I've always focused on Commodus and his reaction and his facial. This time I tried to focus a little bit more on Marcus, on him, and watching him just kind of beat at his son trying to get out.
All you see is his hands.
His hands are moving and his head's twitching, and you can see he's really suffocating.
Yeah, fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Next scene we get, Maximus is summoned to Commodus.
He goes back in, and Commodus is like, grieve with me, my brother, for our father has kicked the bucket.
And kiss my fucking ring.
And Maximus is like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just talked to this guy. I just told Cicero we can't go home yet because I got to fucking run Rome. And then you're going to tell me this dude died in his sleep? Bullshit.
Yeah, conveniently not telling anybody.
Yeah. And
Like he didn't even fucking write it down.
And Commodus is like, you got to swear to me. I'm only going to offer my hand once. And Maximus is just his facial expressions. Fuck you.
Yep.
Walks out, starts to get ready, tells Cicero to get the army because Maximus has guys waiting, his soldiers, his group.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells Cicero, go get them ready. I'm coming. We gotta nip this in the bud before it gets too much.
But Lucilla, she does kiss his hand.
After she knows, she fucking totally knew. That's what the slaps were for.
I think so too.
But then she's also very fucking smart and a survivor.
And we have been told that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Early on in the movie that she is crafty, she is shrewd, she is savvy.
And Marcus even said,
If you had been born a man, I would have made you emperor.
absolutely. Absolutely. And so she kisses his ring because she knows better. And then Quintus goes to Maximus's tent and says,
Right until dawn.
and then execute him.
Mm-hmm.
I like how Cicero gets his sword and is going to fucking go for it, but Maximus looks at him and says, don't worry about it for now. We'll be all right. And then this is, I think, what sets Maximus off. He looks at Quintus and says,
Look after my family.
your family will meet you in the afterlife.
Dude.
Fuck.
You.
These guys were just brothers, right? I mean, fucking Roman Empire, man.
I know Commodus is just an asshole, evil guy, but why do you have to go and kill the family? Is that just to really elevate just how evil this guy is?
Oh, and
Doesn't want revenge.
And it displays power and fear.
Yep.
And not uncommon for higher ups to go after people's families. I mean,
Yep.
yeah. And so they take Maximus out to kill him. And I like this bit because Maximus is a smart motherfucker and he's the best. And he tells the guys, can I have a soldier's death and a clean death? And the dude's like, okay. And Maximus gets the upper hand, whoops their asses while his hands are bound, by the way. I love how he throws the sword through the air. Thud. What was your favorite part about this bit?
The third death, the sword throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that was pretty good. I mean, that you got to have the money shot, you make it.
Yeah. I like the bit where the dude tries to take out his sword and Maximus goes, the frost makes the sword stick.
Yeah.
But here, let me help you. So good. And so Maximus escapes.
He rushes home to his family.
And he takes 2 horses with him.
I thought that was clever. I think the first time I saw it, it didn't really click with me, but because he was running the horses so hard, he needed the backup horse when the first one failed.
Right. Absolutely. And so we cut to Maximus riding. He's got his 2 horses. His hair is getting longer because he's been riding for a long time.
We also see, because of the cut that he's gotten on his arm being so deep, he's losing strength. He's starting to kind of wobble a little bit. And at one point, he's even almost looks like he's almost lost, dazed, confused, just kind of thing. But then it hits him again that he's got to get to his family, and you see him take off again.
And that is at the moment where we cut to his farm in Spain and we see the Roman soldiers coming.
This was one of the most brutal shots for me in the movie, because I don't know if I ever really caught it the first couple times, but when his son gets trampled, they really show that.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I mean, if you watch it in slow motion, that kid obviously CGI or whatever, but I always thought that it was just, the horses coming at him, they cut away. I didn't realize they really show him just get
you see the body
pounded.
you kind of see the body fly right underneath the horse. Yeah, it's fucking brutal. And I'm thinking, well, they end up crucifying and burning the bodies anyway. The kid's probably already dead, so at least he didn't suffer too much. I don't know. But anyways, Maximus gets home and discovers his family, and even more heartbreaking.
Just not only that, but everything's burned and his family's crucified, and you think at this point you just give up.
Yeah.
I also didn't realize that his home was in Spain. That's why obviously they called him the Spaniard.
Yeah.
That was part of the Roman Empire at the time.
Yeah.
And so he buries his family, and then he passes out. He wakes up and he finds that Juba is taking care of him, and then he's becoming the property of Proximo. And then from there, he Proxima gives sort of this little pep talk, to the team about he needs to have them have a good fight out there.
Well, before that, when we're introduced to Proximo, I like the little giraffe thing. You sold me 2 giraffes. You sold me gay giraffes.
Yeah, what the fuck am I supposed to do with those?
So when he grabs the guy's balls,
Yeah.
Oliver Reed did that on his own. And so the guy, he wasn't expecting to have him grab his crotch.
And so that was a real reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I figured that's what someone like that would do. I mean, if I was Proximo, I would do that too. I mean, you're a businessman, right? It's just business.
As they head up the ramp, we see him. He picks up the dirt. He picks up the dirt and runs it through, and then they get out into the arena, and the battle begins, and they win. And then you get this Michael Bay sort of circle shot going around them. It's like, oh, geez.
Yeah. Maximus gets sold into slavery. They go through training. He won't conform. It's almost like he won't fight, won't talk, won't do nothing.
I thought at this point he was ready to join his wife and kid. He was done.
Oh, he probably was,
He was checked out.
but not yet. And so, yeah, he's got to go into this arena, and we see him grab the dirt, which is beautiful.
Did you know what the dirt is supposed to represent? Why he keeps doing that?
Because he's a farmer, and it keeps him close to the earth.
It shows that he's grounded and mortal. It's supposed to kind of, even though he's supposed to be this elevated figure, he's still of the earth.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of Tom Sizemore's character in Saving Private Ryan. Every place they went, he collected the dirt.
Yeah.
Same idea, different, but same idea. So, and then after that fight, Proximo's like, all right, you got some skill, and we get a little more of Juba and Maximus.
Right after the fight is over with, we head to Rome, and that's where he makes his grand entrance.
One of the things I hadn't done in the future or in the past is watched it with the captions on. And this time watching with the captions on, I didn't realize how much the crowd was hating Commodus as he came in, because they were chanting murderer and things like that. So it had gotten back to Rome that he likely murdered his father.
And that he's just not a good guy, right? I mean, his father said he's got no morals, so who knows what he's been doing while his father was away.
And there's not a lot of historical accuracy in this movie, but Commodus was really an emperor. I don't know if he really did kill his father or not, but he was a bad guy who did some really just horrible things.
Yeah, he didn't kill his father, but this movie doesn't need to be historically accurate at all.
No.
So, I mean, Rome was Rome. We get the idea.
What did you think of his entrance? Just all the pomp and circumstance to it.
I felt the same way the senators felt. Here's this guy riding in like he's hot shit, but he hasn't done nothing.
Yeah, he didn't show up for the war.
The only reason he's emperor is because he killed his dad and he happened to be his first male son. So, I mean, how's that fair? And then we kind of get our first council meeting, if you will, or
we get to see
meeting.
the Senate, and clearly Commodus does not want to be there.
And I think it's these bits of this movie that really slow it down for me. And I get why we have to have some of them. I feel like we didn't need all of them, but yeah.
It really, I mean, you're absolutely right. It does slow down the movie. It really is just to show that Commodus just wants to rule. He wants to be emperor, and he doesn't want the Senate. So, he keeps hinting throughout the movie he wants to disband the Senate and just be the ultimate ruler.
He's a dick.
Total dick.
Yeah.
Total dick.
So when we have this happening, the Senate is getting increasingly frustrated with his arrogance, and Lucilla, she steps in and she kind of sort of soothes the feathers of the senators, and, we will look into this.
Yeah. And she's kind of the peacemaker, and she knows how to survive.
Caesar shall do all that Rome requires.
And so Commodus has this great idea. I'm going to bring back the games, the Gladiator
Even
games.
though it was his dad who shut him down.
Right, but he's going to bring him back to honor his dad who shut him down.
Yeah, and we get to hear about this through the senators. They're talking outside. You get that gorgeous, lovely shot of the Colosseum. It is beautiful.
Have you guys been to the Colosseum?
No.
Nope.
I got the opportunity, and if you ever do, it is worth doing a tour of it. It's amazing. Do the night tour because you really get to see the underground, the pulley systems. Everything you see in this movie that they do in the Colosseum is stuff they actually did with the trap doors and the pulley systems and the cages. It's just incredible.
Did you get to be in the actual Colosseum on where they fought?
Well, there isn't a surface there right now. There's just like columns and things like that. You can walk through the columns on that thing, but there isn't like a fighting area. You can go sit up in the seats though.
Oh.
So it's kind of fun to go up and sit in the seats. But underground, I mean, you could see those cages that the gladiators were in or that they held the tigers and things like that. And the fact, like in the second movie, when they fill the Colosseum full of water, you get to actually see how they did that.
Cool.
Very cool. So during this conversation with the senators, Gracchus, he gives a good speech that sums up about Rome is the mob, and this is what Commodus is appealing to, not to us. He's appealing to the people.
Right.
Then we go back to Maximus, and the crowd is chanting Spaniard, and he emerges into the arena alone, and he takes down all of his opponents.
Maximus survives brutal arena matches and earns the nickname the Spaniard. He befriends fellow gladiators Juba and Hagen and gains Proximo's respect. In Rome, Commodus hosts 150 days of games to secure popularity. Proximo takes his gladiators to Rome, including Maximus. In the Colosseum, Maximus leads a reenactment of the Battle of Zama and shocks the crowd with a victorious, unscripted outcome. Commodus confronts the masked warrior. Maximus reveals himself and vows revenge. The crowd forces Commodus to spare him. Maximus grows in popularity, resisting multiple provocations to strike Commodus publicly. Maximus meets secretly with Lucilla, Commodus' sister and his former lover, and Senator Gracchus. Together, they plot to escape Rome, rally Maximus's loyal legions, and restore the Republic. Commodus grows increasingly paranoid. When young Lucius hints at a conspiracy, Commodus retaliates, leading to the death of Cicero and Proximo's men. Maximus is captured.
So one thing that happens when we were just talking about that scene where Maximus walks out and just dispatches really, really quick all of those gladiators, that's where we get the line, "Are you not entertained?" That's one of my favorite lines of this movie, the way that he presented that.
It is so good from the opening where he's just standing there, the gate raises, he's like Rocky, right? He's just going to fucking come out. He looks up, they're dropping the flowers, and a very subtle thing that he does, which makes me I smile every time, is right before they fight, he looks at all of them and he bows to them. He lowers his head like, all right, we're here in battle and this is it, right? And he fucking whoops their ass.
In a minute. And before the battle between the men start, doesn't he thrusts the sword into the ground to pick up the dirt?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that moment that he does that because, it's when he thrusts that sword down like that, everybody, you're all watching to see what he's going to do next. And then, when he picks the sword back up, it's like, come on.
And he bows his head and he says, let's go.
Does that little sword flip thing of his.
Yep.
And then after that, Proximo gives him a little talking to about, you got to slow it down a little bit. If you really want the crowd on your side and for them to cheer you and win them, slow it down and kill them a little slower so that, they get a story.
And Proximo and Maximus are having this conversation and Proximo's like,
I wasn't the best because I killed quickly. I was the best because the crowd loved me.
And he starts to tell Maximus, you win the crowd, you win your freedom.
Exactly.
And you can be free. And then he says something that goes, that's how I did it. I met Marcus Aurelius once and he touched my shoulder and gave me this wooden sword, said I was free. And Maximus starts laughing.
You knew
Marcus Aurelius? I did not say I knew him. He touched me on the shoulder once.
I guess,
but it was a good connection, right? I like that.
The wood sword thing was actually how these gladiators got their freedom. This scene made me think, because they announced later on about this undefeated gladiator that has returned to the ring. He's the only undefeated gladiator. And I kept thinking, well, if someone was presented a wood sword and given his freedom, wouldn't he also be undefeated? But I thought, oh, well, maybe he lost battles, but the emperor didn't have him killed.
Yeah, not every gladiator died when going into battle.
Yeah.
This movie,
I had to think about that.
yeah, with this movie, of course, everyone's going to die because it's a fucking movie. But yeah, no, when they would have the gladiator battles, it all depended on the gladiators. If they both fought nobly and one got the upper hand and whatever, it was up to the emperor.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, not all of them died.
Did you know that they reversed the thumb thing? Apparently in ancient Rome, thumbs up meant kill the guy. Thumbs down meant don't, spare him. But they thought it would be too confusing for the audience.
I would agree with that because when I see thumbs up, I think let him live.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. So the thumbs up represents the sword. The thumbs down represents the sheath.
right.
Oh.
And so,
Oh, another fun little footnote. So gladio, Latin, is apparently something to do with the penis, and the sheath is later translated down to the womanly area. Isn't that amusing, though?
no, it's not interesting because man came up with it and we're all about our dicks. So there you go. And so during this conversation, Proximo's like, the new emperor has turned on the game, so we're going to Rome. And it clicks to Maximus. All right, let's go
Yeah.
to fucking Rome
Yeah.
because I got a man to see about a horse. So
And so when they arrive, Judah, he just marvels at the Colosseum. How could this have been built?
he's absolutely astonished. And we go into the slave quarters and we're getting ready for our first bout. And this is the Battle of Carthage.
Yeah, and I love how Proximo's like, I'm going to lose all my guys in this. You got to pay me something extra. Nope.
And that dude's like, and you can go fuck yourself. Puts on his wig, smiles, and says, fuck off, right?
Those eyebrows?
Yeah.
That's just the actor. That's how the actor normally has his eyebrows.
Those got to be the coolest eyebrows I've ever seen.
Crazy
in my life.
looking.
I've thought about doing
I
it.
was just going to say, I dare you. So yeah.
Proximo also says, win the crowd.
I was going to say, you're daring me. We already have the tombstone mustaches. Now we got to do the eyebrows from Gladiator.
I mean, I have the tombstone mustache. You have,
I got a little Val Kilmer thing going.
if you say so, bud. If you say so.
So before the battle, we do get a little moment between Commodus and Lucilla, and he asks her, "Stay with me tonight," and she says, "No." Oh, then kiss me. Oh,
She kisses him on his forehead.
yeah, but still, the creeps are starting to get in there a little bit. It's like, oh,
Yeah, and I mean, this scene doesn't really do much
Mm-hmm.
for us. So, I mean, other than creep us out about Commodus, but we've already thought that.
I'm going to say, we already hate him. Now we got to be creeped out by him as well.
Yeah, a double dose,
Yeah.
right? Double dose.
before the fight, we get Lucius. He gets to have a little chat with Maximus. You're
And-
the Spaniard.
They say that you can crush a man's head or crush a man's skull in your hand. And I like how Maximus holds out his hand and goes, no, not a man, but a child. And he's just kind of fucking with the kid. And
But he takes it in good spiritedly.
because he's kind.
Yes.
And he was a father and he sees this young man. And
He quickly puts 2 to 2 together to figure out who he is.
I don't know about quickly.
Well, no.
but
When he hears Lucius's name called, and he's like, "Wait, what?"
your name is Lucius? And Lucius says, yeah, I'm Lucius of Aurelius or
He said-
Archelaus, whatever his
Yeah.
name is.
And then he's like, "Holy shit!"
And his eyes dart up because he doesn't know who's watching, right? Because, okay, so Maximus is the most famous general in Rome. And I get that they don't have pictures and he's never been to Rome. But I mean, it didn't strike anybody weird that no one has recognized him yet?
So I pondered that as well, but I was just more about Maximus dropping a deuce when he realizes that this is Lucilla's little boy.
Yeah.
I love the music that's played when he's getting ready for the battle and he picks up the dirt in his hands.
Yeah.
The music's so damn good here.
Yeah. Well, it's Hans Zimmer, right? And I like how Proximo or someone says, what do you say when you get out there? And they all have to stand and face the emperor and say, we who are going to here to fucking die for you, whatever. And they go out there and they say it and Maximus is stone cold. Doesn't say a fucking word, right? And then he sees Commodus come out, and he's just like, this motherfucker.
It's a beautiful sweeping shot when the soldiers go out into the arena for the first time, to the Colosseum for the first time. Just beautiful.
Yeah, and it's kind of a Michael Bay kind of shot.
Yes, it is.
Little circle action. And we get ready for the battle, and it's the Battle of Carthage. And as the gladiators are sitting there getting ready, I like how Maximus says, has any of you guys been in the army? And a couple of them go, yeah. And he goes, good, you can help me. He says,
we need to stick together.
No matter what comes out that door,
we need to stick together.
And they fucking do it. And I love it. And the music, the dun, 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 and just all of it this is probably my favorite Gladiator scene.
Yeah. The gold chariots, you have the Black Warrior. And then I love it when they get the shields together. And he's like, hold!
Diamond! And they all come together.
One of the things I liked about this is during the fight scene that they kept flashing up to the audience or flashing up to Commodus, and you could see how into it they were getting, how much they were loving this violence.
He was getting all kinds of into it. Yeah. And
it's this music that's reminiscent of Pirates of the Caribbean.
It is. It very much is. And Maximus gets a horse, he starts taking command, and at the end of it,
he does his little sword flip.
Yeah.
And you get that goofy little ooh from Commodus.
Yeah. Or when the lady gets chopped in half.
Oh, yeah.
He's all, But the gladiators win. And I like how Commodus looks to the wig guy and says, yeah. Now, my histories could be a little fuzzy, but aren't the barbarians supposed to fucking lose?
Who is he? They call him the Spaniard.
I think I shall meet him.
Bum, 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 bum.
We see Maximus. He picks up a little sword tip.
Was that a sword tip? I think it was an arrow tip.
It was an arrow tip.
Arrow tip? Yeah.
He's going to fucking nail that motherfucker. And then as Commodus is walking out all happy, he's rise. Out comes that little fucking shit, Lucius. His kid.
And he's embraced and Maximus has got to be like, God damn it.
Yeah, he's like, fuck. And he stands up, and then Commodus starts talking to Maximus like he's the man, right? You're the man. What's your name? Everyone speaks highly of you. You're Hector and Hercules reborn. And I love how Maximus just says, I'm Gladiator.
Yeah.
My name is Gladiator.
And he walks in. Don't you turn your back to me, sucker.
He turns his fucking back on him.
Yeah. And this is probably my favorite scene in the entire movie.
It's a great reveal.
All 203 minutes of it, or however how long this fucking movie is. Maybe one of the greatest reveals in cinematic history.
Because it's done to the entire Colosseum. It's done to the world.
But we feel Commodus's, oh, fuck.
You feel his nuts go up into his neck.
Yes. Maximus takes off his helmet, delivers that fucking line, and just the sheer panic in Quintus's face, Commodus's face, and just the surprise in Lucilla's face and everyone else involved. I mean, it's quite the fucking moment.
That line about vengeance was another thing that was improvised by Russell Crowe.
Which fucking sells it. Absolutely sells it.
And before Commodus can do anything, the crowd starts chanting, live.
And I always wondered why, since he's such an evil guy, why he just didn't ignore the audience. But this whole thing was about him winning the mob.
Yeah.
So he has to.
He has to do what the crowd says, and you can even tell because he's shaking. He's telling him to be quiet, and it goes against every ounce of his fucking being that he has to put the thumbs up. And Maximus fucking knows it, right?
Yep.
And he puts the thumbs up, and that pirate score comes in. I mean, the gladiator score comes in. And I like how he looks at Quintus, puts his hand over his heart, like the salute, bows his head like, remember me, fucker? I'm back, right? Did you notice early on the fight that Jubo calls him Maximus before anyone knows his name is Maximus?
That was a mistake, I guess.
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to do that.
It's the first time I ever noticed that. But anyways, moving on.
The other thing I noticed, too, is when he asked the soldiers, have any of you ever served in the military? One or two of them said, yeah, we served with you. So they knew he was Maximus.
I didn't catch it.
Somebody said, I served with you.
I didn't catch that.
I didn't either.
And I had the captions on. So,
well, go back and watch it again.
I might. This would probably be one of the only scenes I go back and watch.
Okay.
But we'll get into that when we review.
When he heads back down when he heads back down, he gets that huge hero's welcome from all of the other gladiators as he's going inside. I just loved that hero's greeting that he gets.
And then we cut to
Commodus and Lucilla, and they're talking about Maximus.
I like how he says, I'm vexed. I am truly, truly vexed. They lied to me. They told me he was dead in Germania. Okay, who told you that? Because none of those fuckers that went out with him came back.
That's what I was thinking. Who told him that?
Yeah, well, it had to have been Quintus.
Well,
right, because he was the head guy now.
I got the impression that the soldiers who were still loyal to Maximus are the ones who told him he's dead. Basically, they're covering for him, letting him get away.
Oh, who knows? Who knows at this point? But either way, Commodus is all pissed off because Maximus is alive.
Well, he also basically says, I've lost the army then. If they lied to me, they're on his side.
Yeah, probably. And so
now we have Lucilla. She has a secret meeting with Maximus.
And Maximus doesn't want to see her at first.
Well, he thinks that she's working with Commodus.
Oh, absolutely.
I love how she emerges from the darkness.
Yeah. Because she's just standing there in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he looks like he could strangle her.
He tried, but he was chained up. He was going to fucking kill her. Because, I mean, they crucified his wife and kid and burnt them alive, supposedly. But, I mean, that's fucked up. I would have done the same fucking thing, right?
But she tells him that she's living in fear of her brother and she wants his help.
And she needs to protect her son, and she has a plan. And there is a politician I would like you to meet.
But he doesn't want to.
He's like, fuck off. Gods, the lady is done with me.
Yeah, there's only one thing he wants.
Revenge.
He could give a shit about Rome at this point. I mean, earlier on, you saw him carving off that tattoo from the Roman army.
I love the look he gives to Juba. Juba's like, won't your gods get angry that you're doing that? And the look is, you fucking right, they will be. And good.
The very next scene, we're back to the battle arena where they do where they train, but it opens up with these guys sitting at a table, and they pull the platter top off, and there's a fucking cobra underneath it that they are playing around with.
Did you notice that they beat on it first to get the cobra all riled up?
Holy
I thought,
shit.
you guys are fucking insane.
And then I think the game is to pull a little nugget or something.
Or throw something in there or do something. Yeah.
But you play dumb games.
You win dumb prizes.
So yeah, whatever.
This leads to, again, one of the funniest scenes, I think, for me was when they're sitting there eating the food and they say, someone says, Maximus, your food's here. So he goes and grabs the food. And
he doesn't say Maximus. He says General.
Oh, General. And they're worried
Hagen.
that the food might be poisoned. And that one guy takes a bite of it.
Yeah, Hagen.
Yeah, that's great.
And you can see that they're bonding right here because of this, that they can share a laugh together, the three of them.
Yeah, and they don't have to say much. And Hagen sells this whole fucking scene. I love it.
Because I thought it could be poisoned. And
Very
all of a
much so.
sudden
And Juba thought it too, because he looks at Maximus and shakes his head and says, you don't want to eat that. Hagen is like, no, General's got to eat, got to stay strong. So he's the guinea pig. I loved it. It was a great scene.
And, it wasn't here, but there was a scene earlier between Hagen and Maximus where Hagen asks him, did you fight in Germania?
And he says, yeah.
No, he says, I fought in many places.
That's right.
He doesn't confess to it, but it's like, oh, he's a German.
I think it was here, but yeah.
The scene ends with Juba saying something very poignant. He says to Maximus that you have a great name. He must kill your name before he kills you. And so with this, we understand even more so that, Rome is, they love Maximus. And so the idea of Maximus, is something that Commodus has to deal with.
Right.
And the fact that they'd already loved him as a general, now they're loving him more as its gladiator. And every battle is just earning him more popularity with the people. And Commodus is losing more of the crowd each time.
Yep.
And then at the intro of the 64th day of the games, we see the camera zooming in on somebody into the audience, and it's Cicero.
What other movie was he in that we reviewed?
He's always a bad guy.
Not always.
Well,
but he was in the movie we reviewed.
Die Hard? No, he was in Snatch.
Nope.
God, I know he was in Sons of Anarchy. I always loved him in that series.
In what?
Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, right. Was he in Snatch? I don't think he was in Snatch. Sin City.
Yes. Yes.
Normally, I like to blow shit up, but it's my knife I'll be doing you with.
Okay.
Yeah. You can always tell from that the
The
scars
scar.
that he has.
But he's in Braveheart. That's where I first saw him. And so here's our next match, and
The Tigress of Gaul.
and he's going up against a gladiator who had to come out of retirement because Commodus, you're right, he doesn't know what to do. He's got to kill Maximus in the games to make it look like the games, right? But he's losing favor every single time.
Yeah, and when Maximus comes out this time, the crowd loves him.
And he is fucking on fire. And he's got to fight this big dude. But Commodus can't let this go down fair in a fair way, right? He's got to bring out some fucking tigers.
Yeah, those are real tigers. They had trainers around the set with tranquilizer darts ready to dart them if they caused any problems.
Fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so their battle happens, and it's kind of a good battle. This tigress dude kind of holds his own for a second, but the shot that I absolutely love is Maximus gets knocked down, and he picks up the fucking axe thingamadoodle, and he swings it over and goes right into the foot.
And then the mask and the blood coming out of the mask mouth.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good.
So good.
And then, I mean, of course, you can't have tigers in the arena without a tiger attacking. And it does, and it jumps onto Maximus's sword. So, I mean, poor tiger. But tigers, if you play dumb games, you win dumb prizes.
So it's a tiger snuff film.
We also saw that the handlers of the tigers were restraining the tigers, pulling the tigers back if they were getting too close to Tigress.
And the crowd notices it too
And they
because
boo.
they start to boo. Yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't fucking work because Maximus gets the upper hand, knocks Tigress on the ground,
And the
looks over to Commodus, you know.
what should I do?
Yeah,
And
thumbs up, thumbs down.
Everybody's chanting, kill, kill, kill.
And Commodus is like, fuck yeah. You could even see it in his face. And he gives him the thumbs down. And Maximus is so fucking cool. Lowers the axe
Drops it to the ground.
and walks off.
And everybody is silent until you have one guy that breaks the silence. Maximus the Merciful.
Ah, ha, ha, and everyone starts cheering, Maximus, Maximus. And again,
Commodus is pissed.
absolutely fucking pissed.
He's like, damn it. Why won't you die?
Yeah. And I think this is somewhere around this bit. Lucilla says, today I watched a slave become more powerful than the emperor of Rome.
So
and that's what's happening.
Commodus, he goes out and he goes down to chat with Maximus. And I love what he says to him. What am I going to do with you? You simply won't die.
And
This is where he pulls out the line that
Tries to provoke him.
I can't believe Maximus didn't fucking lunge at him. That took a lot of just willpower.
dude, but Russell Crowe plays it, I think, like no one else could have. He's shaking and he's breathing. And the line, the Commodus says, they told me that your son squealed like a little girl when they nailed him to the cross, and your wife moaned like a whore when they ravished her again
And again.
and again. And Maximus's line is almost too perfect. The time for you honoring yourself is close to an end, Highness. And you can just see that, right? I mean, you're absolutely right. You should have fucking throttled him. But he walks off and he can't fucking provoke him. It's great.
Mhm.
And then you get the tune. And then Maximus makes up his mind. And he's walking back, and Cicero finds him in the
Yep.
crowd.
Yep.
General, General, General.
Tell the men their general lives. Find me.
And he does. He comes back and he talks to him. And he tells Cicero, I need you to do something for me. It's probably pretty fucking dangerous, but you got to do it anyway. And he tells Cicero to go tell Lucilla that Maximus will meet with the politician.
And then we get another meeting with Commodus, and he's whining away at Falco, one of the senators. And so now here's where, more intrigue comes in, right? Because we now have senators on both sides, right? We have a senator that is favorable towards Maximus, and we have a senator that is favorable towards Commodus.
Yeah. And so at this secret meeting, Maximus meets with Gracchus and Lucilla, and they kind of go over the plan.
He has 5,000 men, a 5,000 man army to take over, and then Maximus leaves, and then the army is then turned over to the Senate.
Right. So but first they have to buy Maximus. Gracchus has to buy Maximus as from being a slave to free him, so he can go get the 5,000 men and return and whoop ass.
And he wants 2 days to do. He needs 2 days to set it up.
Right. And Maximus is like, okay, let's fucking do this. Let's go. I got these 5,000. They'll follow me. We'll give Rome back to the people, and we will follow Marcus Aurelius's dream.
Well, they go and he talk to Proximo, and Proximo's like, "Fuck no, you're not doing any of this."
Yeah, he and pretty much Proximo, he says, I'm just an entertainer. And then you have the Praetorians show up at Gracchus's place. Uh-oh. So do you know what the Praetorians are?
The Roman guard.
Yeah, they're at this stage, they're pretty much like they're like Caesar's bodyguards.
Yeah.
An elite army that's just for Caesar. So he's taken away. And then we get the lovely little conversation that Commodus has with Lucilla. And she finds him with her son. And then they're talking. And clearly the story is all about Lucilla and what she's been up to.
The busy little bee.
Because Lucius and Commodus are playing swords. And Lucius is saying, I'm Maximus. And, he gets to start thinking, wait a minute. And at this breakfast, yeah, fucking terrifying. And Joaquin Phoenix plays it so great. He's so menacing without being menacing.
Well, the threat, I didn't really love his threat, but you're right, it was menacing when he basically said, and if this busy bee kills herself before, to try to get away, her son will follow it.
Yeah.
I'll follow him.
Yeah. So he's basically threatening her. And I think she says it. I mean, she comes clean, right? She has to think of Lucius.
Yeah, she basically spills the beans on the whole plan of how Maximus is going to sneak out.
Right.
It's in this scene where we don't know what Commodus knows, and Lucilla is clearly freaked out because he's being like a cat playing with a mouse before he eats it. How much does he know?
I think he knows nothing, and he's fishing it out. He's just basically threatening her.
Yeah. He gets it all out of her.
Yeah, eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the bit where Maximus is getting ready to escape, but he is told that Gracchus has been arrested, and now he's got to escape.
Yeah, Proximo comes to him at midnight, and you'll be taken to the gate. And oh my gosh, the dialogue in this whole back and forth is so good here. I just love it. He's talking with Lucilla, and he says, "You love your son. You're strong for him." And she's like, "I'm tired of being strong."
Yeah.
And because your father chose me. He says, "My brother hates all the world, and you most of all. Because your father chose me? No. Because my father loved you, and because I loved you."
Yeah.
Right there. It's like, oh boy. And they smooch. Hubba hubba.
And then this is where we get the whole double cross.
Well, we get the whole scene of, the gladiators come running out, and they start fighting with the Roman soldiers, and this is where we lose Hagen.
So disappointing.
But he goes out like a fighter.
Yeah, he does. I'm glad Juba made it alive.
Yeah.
Made it out alive. And
well, that's what you learn early on, not to be the first out the door.
well, I would have thought Saving Private Ryan taught me that, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And then Maximus makes it to where Cicero is, but poor Cicero.
Yeah, the Praetorians, they show up at Proximo's place, and yeah.
And this is where they kill Proximo because, well, Oliver Reed had died, so they had to, get rid of him. And
you also get a quick little shot where we see a snake being released into the senator's bed. It's like, oh boy, he's going around. He's cleaning up shop.
Almost like The Godfather.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. You'll understand when we watch it. And Maximus is captured. Fucking double cross. I hated this bit.
What'd you think of that scene of, Cicero trying to warn Maximus, and then the horse running, and you see him get hanged?
Oh, fucking brutal.
Yep, it's like all hope is now lost.
Yeah, because Maximus has been captured.
And it also looks like that everybody back, at Proximo's place has been slaughtered.
Right.
It appears that way.
I was surprised. Of course, it wouldn't have worked out for the movie, but the Emperor, Commodus, could have had Maximus killed at this point and just said, well, he died while he tried to escape. Instead, he wants to win the crowd. So I guess it does make sense. He wants to win the crowd and beat him in the arena.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm going to say. To regain favor with the people, Commodus challenges Maximus to a duel in the Colosseum, but stabs him secretly beforehand. Despite the wound, Maximus overcomes Commodus in front of the Roman crowd. As Commodus tries to use a hidden blade, Maximus disarms and kills him. Mortally wounded, Maximus uses his final moments to call for political reform, freedom for the gladiators, restoration of the Senate, and honor for his fallen friends. He dies envisioning a reunion with his family in the afterlife. The people of Rome carry his body out of the arena as a hero. Later, Juba returns to the Colosseum, burying figurines of Maximus's wife and son in the sand, honoring the man who lived and died as a true servant of Rome. I will see you again, but not yet. Roll credits.
So it's the next morning after the slaughter, and Senator Falco, he comes in to Commodus and he tells him it is done. And so now we have Lucius to be, he's to be with Commodus and Lucilla, and he will provide him with a hare. Holy shit. Nice breakfast.
Oh, that's right, because Commodus is giving her the breakdown of how it's going to go down now.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, that's right. You will give me an heir of natural blood. Is this where he kisses her? This might be where he kisses her.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you're like, damn, welcome to hell, woman.
And
Yeah.
you could see just on her face that she's like, her soul is gone.
Yeah,
She's
and-
just been destroyed.
And he's like, am I merciful? And she doesn't say anything, and he gets all up in her face. Am I not merciful?
That was improvised.
Yeah.
He did that off script, and her reaction's genuine.
And it fucking worked. I mean, clearly, because Ridley left it in the movie. Good job, Ridley. And then we cut to Maximus. He's being strung up. He's being held, waiting for whatever is coming his way. And he is told that he's going to fight Commodus in the arena.
And then he gives him a blade right into the ribs.
I think it was at this point in the movie when I first saw it. I think I might have actually said, fuck, out loud. Because what a horseshit way to go. Right?
Little shit.
Well, we know he's not going to fight fair, so he was going to do something.
I know, but that was fucking, I really hated
And
that.
the way that dagger looked too was like a circular blade or something.
Yeah. I mean,
And it
just-
looked like it would hurt. That fucker would hurt going in.
Strap on his armor. Conceal the wound.
They didn't do a very good job because you could see the blood
It's
running down his side.
Yeah. And so they get out to the arena and they have a fight. And I knew, I mean,
I love Commodus's entrance into the arena because it's so over the top. It's love me.
yeah.
It's so gaudy.
And he gets his sword. And do you notice that Quintus is supposed to give Maximus his sword? And so he throws it away from Maximus. So Maximus has to stumble and go get it. Fucking lame, right? But anyways, they pick up the sword, they start dueling, and it doesn't take long for Maximus just to whoop his fucking ass.
Yeah, they go at it, and it doesn't take long.
And this is what we've been waiting for the entire fucking movie.
Well, I kept thinking, earlier on in the movie, we saw like at the war scene or after the war scene, Commodus fighting with the 4 soldiers. And I kind of thought, okay, this is going to be foreshadowing that he's going to have to fight in the end or something. But I always kept thinking, well, these soldiers are probably pulling their blows and not really fighting hard with him, letting him win. So he's got this ego that he thinks he's this super soldier.
Well, maybe. I don't think he thinks he's the super soldier because he has to fucking wound Maximus going into it. But yeah, the scene you're talking about, I was thinking, oh, that's fucking horseshit. And it's in the dead of winter. Why are you guys not wearing your shirts?
Well, like I said before,
Stupid.
Commodus, the actual Commodus, was known for fighting in the arena, but he was also known for kind of rigging a lot of the fights. The fights were always set so that he would win.
Yeah, well, I figured he would do it anyway.
Yeah, he usually, back in ancient Rome, he would actually just mostly fight and kill animals, like ostriches and things like that. It was just crazy.
And when he would fight people, the Praetorians, they would stab that person in the back and then send him out into the arena.
Of course they did. Of course they did. And so
I love the moment in the battle when we have Commodus losing his sword and he turns and he yells to Quintus, "Give me your sword."
And Quintus is like, sheathe your swords, everybody.
Yeah,
Stay the
now he
fuck at us."
decides to
Yeah.
turn back to the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, after all the shit he did, yeah, no, you're not forgiven, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's going to be in charge, so.
So Commodus, he breaks out his little secret dagger.
Comes after Maximus.
Same one he had stabbed him in the side with.
Yeah. And also, Maximus is starting to go in and out of Hallucinationville.
Yeah.
Because at some point he's running his hands along wheat again,
Yep.
or he sees, things in front of him. And Commodus thinks, oh, okay, now's my chance. Pulls out his little wimpy blade, goes up to try to kill him. But no, Maximus snaps out of it, stops him, and lands
Stabs him in the neck.
kills him right there and then
With his own blade.
with his own blade.
And then the arena goes silent.
Silent.
Completely silent. And now Maximus, he's going back home. He's drifting back to home again.
And then he snaps out of it and he looks at Quintus and he says, Quintus, free my men. I love that bit.
Yes.
And then he
Yes.
says, we're going to restore
Senator,
Rome.
yeah,
back to-
Senator Gracchus, the gladiators, and all of that. Lucilla, she rushes to his side, and that's where he says, Lucius is safe.
Yeah. And
then she tells them, go to them.
I love that bit.
So good.
So good. I feel you. Every time. And
And he does, and she says, you are home.
Did you have the little tear? Because that kind of brought a tear to my eye, even thinking about
come
it.
on.
yeah, how could it not, man? Fucking tugs at your hearts. He finally gets what he wants.
And the music.
Now We Are Free is probably one of the best songs. I think it's the best song on the soundtrack, but that is a song that I would just listen to in the car.
Yes. Yes, I have too.
Oh my God, it's so good. And she says, is there anyone who will help me carry this? Oh no, Gracchus says, is there anyone who will help me carry this man? And everybody steps up. He was a hero of Rome. Treat him like one.
Yeah, honor him.
And they take him out. And then
I love that shot of him being carried off, and Commodus is just laying there all alone and forgotten.
Yeah, it's so good because he's just there dead. And then we cut back to the Colosseum at night.
Last night when I was watching it, and you see Commodus laying there, what flashed through my head was, oh, why Commodus? I forgot you were there. You may go now.
You may go now. And then we cut to that night, and Juba comes out.
He's alive.
Yes. Well, we saw him in the cage.
I kind of halfway thought that he was killed in the slaughter.
Yeah, no. Before the fight, as Maximus is getting ready, as they string him up, they cut to all the prisoners from the night before, and Juba's one of the first ones.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he buries Maximus's figurines, covers them, says...
Yeah, you already said it earlier, but this is, again, another one of my favorite lines, because it was a callback to an earlier statement they had made.
Yeah, and he says, I will see you again.
Now we are free.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he says, now we are free. I will see you again, but not yet.
And the music.
And because it's building, right?
Yes.
And we pan up.
It's such a pretty closing shot.
And we see the fucking city.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
We get the tune. And that was Gladiator. All right. What do you guys think? You guys ready to rate this flick?
I'm ready to rate this flick. How about you, John? Are you ready to rate this flick?
Born ready. And if this review dies, I will have my vengeance in this podcast or the next.
Hey, Professor, how do we do our ratings?
We do our ratings on a scale of 1 to 5 fucks. 5 fucks is a movie that we think is cinematic gold. A 1 fuck movie is a movie where you get done watching it and you're like, I'm never watching that again.
And what's a 0?
A 0 fuck movie is where you get done watching it, you turn to your buddy and you're like, oh, for shit's sake, what the hell? Why would you make me? I want 2 hours and 35 minutes of my life back.
Or in other words, we just don't give a fuck.
I picked this out of the helmet. Would you like me to go first?
I think that's the rule, so I'm not sure why you keep asking me. I think we're going to change this shit up a little bit, all right? From here on out, I am the fucking emperor. You may call me Caesar. And you two will be my little boys that I like to keep on the side.
I keep thinking, now are you going to try to sleep with your sister?
And Don, put that away. I'm not kissing that.
Oh, yes, you are.
No,
I
am not.
Am I not merciful?
How did you get the ring on there?
Are you not entertained?
Hey, eyes up here.
Before I go, Don, would you like to predict my rating?
Sure. You're going to give Gladiator. I don't know how you can't give it anything lower than 4.5 fucks. So 4.5 fucks for me.
Okay, final answer?
Final answer, yeah.
Okay. Gladiator is a stunning visual trip back to ancient Rome, thanks to Ridley Scott's epic direction and eye for detail. The storytelling is strong and layered. The fight scenes, they absolutely pull you in. I'm not the biggest Russell Crowe fan, but this is easily one of his best performances. Joaquin Phoenix nailed the creepy villain role. I mean, I believed he wanted to sleep with his sister. Sure, it drags a bit in places, but overall, it's a solid watch. Definitely rewatchable, though not one I'd revisit right away. Still, it's absolutely worth your time. It's for those reasons I'm giving Gladiator 4.5 fucks out of 5.
Fucking nailed it.
Nicely done.
What about you there, Professor?
I'll go next.
All right, fire away, guy.
Gladiator is a fantastic movie. This movie is a 5-fuck movie. The characters are solid. The music is wonderful. The fights are so brilliantly done. The movie just is such an entertaining watch. I love the intrigue. It feels, as John pointed out at the beginning, a Shakespearean story. And I love all of the characters. The actors, wonderful to a fault. And the dialogue is just so delightful and so many memorable lines. And I have many moments throughout the movie. It's like, oh, I love this moment. And there are many pictures that I have in my head of the movie when I think about it. So for me, it's always a very enjoyable watch. 5 fucks, no doubt.
Cinematic gold from the Professor.
You go next.
Thanks, buddy. Gladiator, 4.75 fucks. It's almost perfect. I personally think that it's a bit too long. I think the political scenes drag on just a little bit. We're not dumb being the audience. I think some of that could have been condensed down, but that's just me. Other than that, the cast, the score, the director, the cinematography, all of it is pretty fucking perfect, which is why it won the Academy Award. But other than the length, that's what does it for me. So 4.75 fucks from this guy. With cinematic gold from the Professor, 4.5 fucks from the comic book guy, and 4.75 fucks from yours truly. That gives Gladiator an average of 4.75 fucks, which now ties it in the 4th spot with A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Kill Bill Volume 2, The Train to Busan, Die Hard, The Shawshank Redemption, and Elf. It is slightly better than Goodfellas, Pulp Fiction, Black Panther, A Quiet Place, Stand By Me, and Good Will Hunting. And it is slightly worse than Lethal Weapon, Ghostbusters, Kill Bill Volume 1, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, The Fellowship of the Ring, and The Exorcist. So
I got to agree with you. The only reason why I didn't give it a perfect score is because it did feel long in certain parts. That's the only negative I had about the movie.
Yeah, it just kind of dragged for me. But I'm not a big political kind of guy, so, I don't give a fuck.
Yes, you do. You give 4.75 fucks.
All right, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Three Guys in a Flick. If you would like to know which movie we're going to be reviewing next, please check out the website. Speaking of which, hey, John, where can they find us?
They can find us at threeguysinaflick.com, where we go ahead and post our show notes. All of our podcasts are available on there. And there's a web form that you can submit a movie you'd like to go into our helmet for us to review down the road. You can also find us at all of social media, where I have gone ahead and started posting on Tuesdays on X and on Facebook what movie will be coming out on Thursdays. And I'm going to give you a little hint. If you subscribe while you're listening to this podcast or subscribe to our Facebook or Twitter posts, you'll know that our podcasts secretly come out on Wednesday sometimes, and you can get it around noon and listen to it during your lunch. Otherwise, while you're listening to our podcast on any of the places that host podcasts, be sure to subscribe, leave us a comment, and you can also submit a movie there in the comments you would like us to review next.
All right. I just want to thank Gil50 for throwing this into the Bronco helmet. We had a lot of fun watching it and reviewing it. We hope you had fun listening to it. I also want to thank anyone else who listens and who has suggested a movie. If you keep listening, we'll keep recording. For Three Guys in a Flick, I'm Don.
I'm John.
And I'm Ken. Thanks for listening. Were you not entertained? Were you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Three guys with some mics, yeah, done into the flicks. We're here for the real talk, no time for the tricks. Don is the captain, steering us right. Kid drops now to shedding light. John with the comics, bringing the hype. From the good, the bad, to the absurd, we break it down, make sure you heard. Passion for the screen, we ride or die about movies. You know we always give a fuck, no lie.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor. It's Commodus?
Commodus.
Commodus, not Commodus.
All
Come on, this.
right, you ready, boys?
Yep.
All right. Very proud of myself at that moment, as you guys can't tell. All right.
Wouldn't it have been great if he had come back as a Force ghost throughout the movie to advise Maximus?
No, I don't try to make them tricky necessarily. I don't try to.
I think he tries it. Yeah, I think he tries to make it so I just don't completely kick your ass.
Well, I just assumed he's sending you the answer.
Am I using too many polysyllabic obfuscating words?
Yes.
It befuddles you?
Yes.
My apologies.
Well, you are
No,
the
don't be.
professor.
Yeah, I guess I should be smarter.
I thought he would ask, what did Maximus grow at his farm or whatever?
Weed.
Sure is a lot of thrusting in this movie, so that makes sense.
Glad he ate her.
You just stole one of mine.
I stole it 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago when we were talking about it.
I'm more prepared than Commodus was to make weird with his sister.
All right. It is time. I have one, which I totally stole from you. So how many do you have?
No, I said it.
I have one that I totally stole from
And
you.
I said
Professor.
I wasn't going to use it because it's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
How many do you have?
Well, now I have 2.
Okay.
I had 3.
Glad he ate her. It's fucking the best.
And then it's another obvious one. Glad I laid her.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one.
That is good.
My last one, glazed eater.
You're gonna have to explain that for the professor. He doesn't. He's
No,
sure
thank you.
he's not quite sure what glaze.
Well, you
means.
see,
No.
Commodus' sister became his fuck toy.
Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
All right. May all of your days and nights be filled with happiness. All right. Fuck up. Good night.
We lift in the base, we hit the sky. So tune in to the thrill, catch the vibe. As three guys in a fight, keep the passion alive. Fuck that guy.